Hey there, fellow hustlers. Have you ever wondered how my journey all began? The journey from a dream to reality, from an idea to cold, hard cash in my pocket. Well, today I'm pulling back the curtain and sharing the story of how I made my first $5,000 in real estate. Picture this. I'm juggling a full-time engineering job, working 80 hours a week, yet every spare moment finds me behind the wheel, scouring neighborhoods, driving every single street for hidden gems. It's a tale of determination, grit, and a whole lot of miles clocked on the road. This is a story of how I turned drive time into dime time using a method called driving for dollars. So when I was first getting started in real estate, I was actually working an engineering job. And this engineering job, what's called a field engineer, where I was managing subcontractors on the field on a construction site. Projects for this range anywhere from $133 million to $1.2 billion. And so you can imagine this took a lot of my time. I was working about 80 hours a week at the time, but I did not want to stay in that job because I knew that if I stayed in that job, I was going to end up like all of my bosses who were divorced, never with their kids, bald and depressed. And that was just not something I wanted to do. And when I first got on that job site, I remember walking on the field and thinking, screw this. I'm not going to work with this job forever. I'm actually going to own this building instead. And so while I was working my engineering job, I really only had about 20 to 30 hours a week to work on my real estate business. And guys, this put me sleeping 4 hours every single night, constantly hustling and looking for deals. And the way that I found my first deal was through driving for dollars. Give you a brief overview of what that is. Essentially, you go drive around a neighborhood and you find super rundown houses. You create a large list of these people and you start trying to see if they're willing to sell. As far as when it comes to real estate investing, you either have more time or more money. And in my case, I had not that much money. I needed to spend a lot of time. And that's why driving for dollars was perfect. And so I literally spent the weekends driving around all mobile home parks in Southern California. Every single one of them, whether they were 2 hours away or 4 hours away, I was driving them. And in order for me to save time, what I did was I would rent an Airbnb on the weekends and stay there for one night and literally drive from Saturday at 5 o'clock in the morning till Sunday at 8 p.m. at night to go find deals. And so here's how I found that first mobile home that made me $5,000. Keep in mind some context. I had just finished my first flip a month or two ago, and I had lost all of my money that I put into this deal. It was $30,000. And so I knew that I needed to get a coach for this second one because I was not trying to lose my money again. And so I ended up getting a coach, and he tells me to go drive all these mobile home parks and start knocking on doors looking for sale by owner signs. I started doing this in every single neighborhood like I had mentioned, and eventually I came across this little sale by owner sign that was handwritten in Lancaster, California. And I ended up buying that property and fixing it up and reselling it. And so let me break down the numbers of what that looked like. I ended up buying this property for $7,500. Keep in mind, this isn't a mobile home park, so they do not own the land itself. They only own the home. So I was just buying this little box. And I ended up putting $12,000 into this project. All in all, I ended up holding it for 3 months at $500 every single month. And eventually I sold it for $26,000, which made me $5,000 in 3 months. So this is like a super important thing that a lot of new investors don't keep in mind is what's called the holding cost. When you're flipping like $1 million house, your holding costs can get extremely large. On a property that's over $1 million, you're typically spending over $10,000 a month just to hold that property. Whereas in this little mobile home, it was just $500 a month, which was pretty much the lot rent and any utilities I had to pay. So keep in mind that when you are starting off, you can't just take your price minus your renovations and get your profit. You have to take into account those holding costs. And so just an overview of some lessons that I learned throughout this process is that deals are out there. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices to get them. And at the time when I was working that job, I could have made every excuse in the book that I didn't have time to do my real estate investing. But I kicked all those excuses on the side, and even my friends loathed me at the time for never hanging out with them and always just working so much to the point where I was burning out like literally every month. And I'd never recommend that to anybody, but you have to remember that deals are out there and sometimes you do have to make sacrifices to get them. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope that helped. I want to see you find your first deal and get paid and help you with that. So if you're looking for real estate investing coaching, I teach students one-on-one and create a custom blueprint for you and walk you through the step-by-step of how to find your first deal and get paid. So if you're interested, sign up for a free strategy call at the link in below. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you on the next video. Shoots!